Hello, it is Diane with Diane's BlueHeartsandButterflies.com, and I wanted to play around with the new stamp set, Wisteria Wishes, and it is a bundle with the Wisteria dies that can cut out some of the images as well as cutting out some detailed images that you could use standing alone, separate from the stamps. So this was the first card that I shared with my local class, and it's using the wisteria as the flowers as well as the wisteria as kind of a tree branch or a bush. And so that's the card that I want to share with you today. And I am using polished pink cardstock as my kind of main color, and I also cut some pieces of garden green. So the polished pink is 4 1/4 by 11. Score it in landscape at 5 1/2, and that creates the base. Then you have two green garden green cardstocks. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then there are two pieces of the basic white cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then you can have embellishments as you desire. I, on my original card, had used some of the 21, 23 in color opal rounds. And there's also the 22, 24 in color matte decorative dots that you could use as well. There's other rhinestones or any other the brass butterflies or anything like that. So these stamps are photopolymer, so you are able to see through them. Got stuck together. So this is the flower stems, and then this is the bush or tree branch, as you want to call it. And then the grouping of the 3 flowers, it's made to fit exactly on top of these stems, as well as hanging off these branch pieces. And then it comes with some wonderful sayings in there. So I'm going to start with stamping. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat because, of course, these are photopolymer, so they don't have the red rubber, or in the cushioning like the red rubber stamps. And so it's this provides the cushioning to give a better image. I am bringing in the garden green ink pad, and it's good to remember on these stamp pads that you don't have to push in. These aren't like the old cloth ones where you have to push hard to get the ink onto the image that you want to stamp. These are made with the sponge type, and you just have to kind of tap across the top of it in order to get that color to go on there. Now this one I am gonna kind of stamp across the top, kind of from the side. And then these are dye inks, so if you'll just kind of hold it there for a few seconds, let that absorb into the paper, then it does give a good image there. Then we have the polished pink ink, and I'm going to take and do the wisteria flowers in this, and then you can line up where those fit and stamp them right down. Another thing that would be really cool is if you had a lighter to a darker shade, maybe 2 or 3 colors, and then you would stamp this in the lighter one, and then you could use like a dauber and add the next darker ink kind of across the middle, and then you could add the darker across the top with another dauber, and that would give kind of a variegated color. You could also stamp it in various shades of that same color. So this one is the part that I'm going to have on the inside, and the words, I think I'm going to stamp them in the garden green. And so on the inside, I have happiness grows within. And you just tap it across, and then you press and hold. You don't need to rock it or anything. That's sometimes how people get the little extra halo effect on there. So that's the first piece. And then this is the outside. And I'm going to do the flower stems, stalks, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just trying to get the ink on the image that I want to have it stamp in. I don't want to get ink all the way around, because that again will create halos and other lines that I don't really want on my card. And this card is fairly simple. It's like the Stamps ink paper that we get to hear about and see many other people do. Now on this one, you'll turn the wisteria so that it's the short end is at the top, or the, what do you call it? The less thick end is at the top. And I'm sorry, I've got to pull it down just a little bit so I can see where these line up with the stalks. And then I just press and hold. And then on the front, one of the other sayings, to a friend who's all kinds of wonderful. And I'm just going to use that garden green ink again. And press it down and hold. And there we go. Let me close these inks so I don't accidentally stick my fingers in it. And it's happened, so that's how I know I will. And so it's time to just put everything together. I'm gonna set these stamps off to the side too, so I don't accidentally do that. Now I really like the Stamp and Seal, or Stamp and Seal Plus, and it's a really great permanent kind of adhesive. And so I'm going to, made these so that the garden green would create a very small border. Oh, and of course it's going to do it this time that I didn't bring a backup. Okay. These cases that the Stamp and Seal comes in, oh, they are the Seal and the Seal Plus come in the exact same case, so they are interchangeable as far as the outside goes. And this one I just really like because it has kind of cut lines in it, so it tears a lot better. So I just created a very tiny small border, and of course I got the adhesive off the edge, so just folding it under, and then put it over here where I want this small tiny border. And then the one that goes on the inside, and if you wanted to be, I'm going to get another, let me get another one of those because that was catching. And if I were being frugal, then I would have taken and made some die cuts out of the center of this background piece, because you can always use those later and no one's going to see what's on the back side of it when it's just on the cardstock like that. Alright, so here is my inside piece, and again this is just for a small border around there, just so you get a hint of that green. And then it's just doing the same on the card front. Need to make sure that's down. And then, I know some people, they think I'm weird turning it over, but when I'm cutting my cardstock, for some reason it leaves kind of a, on one side it'll leave kind of a little curved edge, and I'd rather have that on the back. So to me it's the wrong side to put it on here. So I've always done that even before becoming a demonstrator. It's just something I've always done. So this, I'm gonna add some glue, adhesive. You can use the white Tombow craft glue. You can use tear and tape. You can use the seal. You can use whatever you like to adhere these, whatever works best for you. And I have a tendency to use too much of the white glue, so that's why I don't use it very often. So this is the card that, the first card that I use, and you can use this with any colored papers. I bet that would be beautiful with the new Orchid Oasis paper, and the Tahitian Tide, or even a Balmy Blue, or a Highland Heather, or something like that, a Gorgeous Grape. They would be really pretty. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will have the measurements and over on my blog at www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com, and I will have the blog post will link back to this video so that you can watch that for putting it together. I appreciate your time and coming here. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and click the like button and share it. Also, if you'd like to click on the bell icon, you'll be notified when I update or upload new videos, and then you could click over to go to the blog post from there and be able to get information on it and any products that I use. I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This year makes 10 years, and I really love the products and the people that I meet, and it really gives me an opportunity to share what I love with other people. I hope that you will continue to watch and see what other ideas that I bring up, and that you will choose me as your demonstrator if you don't already have a demonstrator. Thank you very much.